Buenos dias, everybody. Lovely to have you listening to the show today. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I hope that this show finds you safe and healthy and taking really good care of yourself. Today, I've got a powerhouse talking with us. Named by Inc. magazine as one of the top 13 business shows, Crum III hosts the Conscious Millionaire podcast and radio network with over 1,800 episodes and heard in 190 countries. He's a #1 best-selling author, speaker, and serial entrepreneur who made his first million at age 25. JB is a high-performer coach to entrepreneurs and business coaches who want to scale to their first million or double their seven-figure business. Conscious Millionaire provides accelerator masterminds to help entrepreneurs accelerate in just 30 days. You are amazing, such a powerhouse, JV. I'm thrilled to have you to hear all of your wisdom. Welcome to Conscious Conversion.
Well, Sarah, it's my honor to be here. And I just want to say a big hello. If you're listening today, I'm going to say what I always say on the Conscious Millionaire show. I don't think there are any accidents. This is the information you need, because otherwise you wouldn't have, in a vibratorily way, been attracted to this show. There was something about this that energetically pulled you in. And I'm thrilled that you're here because we're going to talk about how to make money consciously. And I know from talking to Sarah, that's really who's listening. That's, if you're listening, you want to be able to build wealth, you want to make money, you want to do it consciously, you want to make an impact in the world, and you'd like to put more money in the bank account. So we're going to be talking about that today.
Awesome. You know, I wanted to mention too, like we have very similar names of our respective programs: Conscious Millionaire, Conscious Conversion.
Right.
So it's all about getting conscious conversion so that you can be a conscious millionaire.
Well, you can't be a conscious millionaire unless you convert. That is absolutely true. In fact, later on today, I'm doing a training, and it's on the sales process because I find that so many entrepreneurs have difficulty with the sales process. And, you know, Sarah, one of the things, and I want to address this right up front, is that having a brand like Conscious Millionaire, I pull in a wide range of people. They all want to make a bigger impact with their life. That's something they all have in common. And they all want to make money. However, what I've found is that if people are heavily weighted on the conscious side, oftentimes they've bought into a story. Now, I want to tell you that everything that's going on in reality, I call stories. And I go, we just kind of make up these stories. For instance, I'm doing a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work right now. And so one of the stories I believe in is quantum physics. But at the same time, I go, and quantum physics isn't true. It's just a story. Now, that's by way of saying that if you, for any reason, think it's not right, it's not conscious, you know, it's not good for you to be charging, quote unquote, too much, which means you're actually doing well, then that's something we ought to talk about today. I call that a wound. I call it the money purpose wound. And that money purpose wound is when you think that you've gotten these gifts, which you have, and therefore, because they were a gift, maybe you were born with them, maybe it just seemed like over time they developed, that you're supposed to gift them away. You got it all wrong. Because here's what happened. The universe, God, higher power, whatever word you want to use, endowed you with these gifts as you came into the planet. And this was actually the key that you are to use to make your livelihood. It's to bring your purpose out into the world. It's to bring the gifts that you have that are going to help other people transform, organizations transform, bring them forth. And in return, here's the piece that I have found that is almost always missing in all these conscious people who come to work with me. Fabulous givers, give you the shirt off the back, love people, want to change people. But there's this barrier oftentimes that's keeping them from receiving. And as a result, it's hard for them to charge anything close to what is the real value of what they're providing. And worse, it's hard for them to actually receive it and put it in their bank account. And if what I'm saying resonates with you today, I just want you to answer this one question for yourself. How can you be a true purpose-driven entrepreneur on this planet without growing the sales and profits? Because those allow you to play bigger. I can assure you that unless you want to be Gandhi, unless that's your journey, and I deeply admire Gandhi, but Gandhi was not playing a business game. So he could play the poverty game and it was fine. But if you're playing a business game, you must focus on receiving money so that you can grow your business, so you can impact more people. Because that cycle goes around and around and around. Yeah. And the more people you impact and the more you receive, the more abundance you have in order to move forward and make more impact. And
it's all about the intention, right? It's all about the intention of that. I mean, I think so many of us sort of conscious and spiritual people have, like I was saying before we hit record, have taken an unconscious vow of poverty. And it's because I think largely people see capitalism is inherently toxic or patriarchal or controlling or something like that. And so one of the big things that it might be the case that historically capitalism has been toxic, but what we have to do is turn it around. We have to reframe it and change our concept of what money actually is, because it really is just part of an energy exchange. And if you have a gift to put out into the world, what is that going to be, that energetic exchange, so that you can fill your cup and then fill the cups of others, and then have your cup full and then fill the cups of others and then have your cup full. And by cup, I mean Olympic swimming pool filled with.
Well, and I agree. And what you're talking about, I actually call first and second stage capitalism. So first stage capitalism's all the things you're talking about. It's only about the bottom line, and all that matters is that you get the biggest bottom line in town. That's really what it's about. But second stage, which is really multiple versions of a conscious approach to making money, is about what I call the triple win. You, others, and society, and those others might be your clients, but you, others, and society all winning together. And ultimately, those others include all your stakeholders. So it's your employees, it's your suppliers, it's your independent contractors, it's your landlord if you have an office, that everybody is set up to win, as opposed to I have to get all the marbles. That's stage one, because there are only 100 marbles, or there are only 100 pennies in a dollar. But in stage two, there can be 1 billion pennies in a dollar, because we're going to get the synergy of focusing on, okay, how do I win? And recognizing that really I can only win at my highest levels if you're also winning, and if I'm building a world that's winning, because then we're all winning together, and that's what our society has become. And so a lot of the shift is a shift in mindset about how's the game played. Is it just one person wins and the other person loses? That's the stage one of capitalism. But in stage two, everybody's winning, including society. So you're setting up your business very differently. And you're doing some things like Tom's did, where he was giving a pair of shoes away for every pair that he sold. It wasn't the same pair, but it was a pair that gave people something on their feet. But that we're all part of this together. And that's a very different perspective. Now, for you to win, you've got to be delivering the exact product or service that your market wants, that's a problem that they have, and you can provide the solution. And that solution needs to be connected to your purpose. So you're driving forward with a purpose-driven company, but the purpose-driven business gets paid for delivering the purpose. And that's the difference between it being a business and being a nonprofit, really, is that if you're building a business, you have to look at, what's the problem I'm here to solve? And then actually work a little backwards and go out and go, okay, so who has that kind of problem that I'd like to work with? And that becomes your market. And that's also a difference in stage two, because in stage one, people start on the outside and go, well, where's there something I could sell that somebody would buy? But what's wrong with that picture? You are not involved in it. So even if your business becomes successful financially, it's not successful from a fulfillment perspective. I want you to be fulfilled. And the only way to do that is to start with an understanding of your purpose, which is really a solution to somebody else's problem. And then who do you feel most drawn to work with who has that problem? That's the way to put together your business.
What's stage 3?
That's a great question. I meditate every day, and I constantly focus on connecting with a higher sense of purpose and a higher sense of a vision of what's going on in the world. And my answer is that comes after my life. There is a stage 3, but I don't see it yet because we have so much work to do to transition from stage 1 to stage 2, which I really feel is my life's work. I have a global nonprofit, Conscious World Foundation, and it's for youth 18 to 25 to train them to become the next conscious leaders to answer only one question. And it's really found in that triple win that I call you, others, and society, is how do we build a world in which everybody can win? So it's a world that works for everyone. And that, I think, is the transition that we're in right now. But that's the next 30, 40, 50 years of this planet. And then we do that well. I think stage 3 will begin to appear. I don't know what it is, but it will be exciting to get there. To me, it's exciting that we're at stage 2 because this has only been, this transition in some ways started back in the 60s, really. And then in the 70s and 80s, you started moving to where there were some conscious businesses and things like Celestial Teas and Whole Foods, began to emerge. But most of this shift has occurred really from the 90s forward. That's when it started to enter commerce. So we've come a long ways in a short period of time.
Yeah. So what... I hear like you are extremely mission driven and you support other mission driven entrepreneurs to create.
Absolutely. And a lot of times help them figure out their mission because they're not yet clear about it.
Okay. What would you say is the impact you want to make over the course of the next 5 years?
Yeah. So I want to grow Conscious Millionaire and Conscious World, my global nonprofit, like they're on steroids. So I want to be impacting in various ways. I mean, my podcast heard by 12 million people, but I want to go beyond that impact and have millions of people somehow being impacted by my programs through Conscious Millionaire, through the Conscious World programs, through the programs. The fastest way for you, me, anyone to impact a lot of people is to choose to work with people who are not only want to make a big wave, but can make a big wave. So some people are just going to sit around and they're going to twiddle their thumbs all their life, and they're really never going to do much. So it's also getting discerning and saying, I want to call to me those people who not only want to make a big difference, make a big impact, create a big wave, but they can. They can do it. And a lot of that is that they've decided to execute. I work in 3 areas: mindset, strategy, and execution. You can't get the right strategies and execution till you get the right mindset. You have to start there. And then you start seeing bigger opportunities and bigger strategies for building your business. At the end point, the one that where the rubber hits the road is execution. And a lot of people, and if you're listening, I'm calling to you right now today, have spent most of their lives creating big visions. And they talk about them, but they don't do anything about them. And that's the difference between somebody who wants to make a big change and someone who's going to make a big change. They can. And the only way you can is by executing. You have to be committed to executing.
Mm-hmm. How do you reach people organically? I checked out your Instagram in particular, and it's it's wildly high. It's not quite 100,000, I don't think. What's it? I can't remember.
It's between 70 and 75.
About 70,000 people. How did you do that?
Yeah, so I hired someone to build my account for me because they knew how to do that. much the same as that, we do right now. I have a guy who's doing all of my LinkedIn. So we're using LinkedIn to find my higher end clients. I have someone who does the Facebook, does all my Twitter. So I set up what I wanted, but then I don't have the time to do that. So, and most people don't have the time to do that. You can decide, well, do you want to spend 2 or 3 hours a day, or do you want to have other people spending 2 or 3 hours a day building that? So that's what is absolutely necessary in order to grow and to get known.
Yeah.
And now I'm hiring somebody this month who's going to be getting me on the podcast, because I want to get on more podcasts now, because I want to get my messages out. Also, right now, I'm shifting primarily to group programs. I'll still continue doing private coaching, but it will be more higher end, 6, 7, 8 figures. And I'm creating programs that for 5, early 6 figures. There's one level of program and coaching for that. And so I have a team to do the coaching. And then I'm doing a program that's going to be a year-long program. That's a 6-week program that I'm launching called Business Accelerator Formula. And then I'm going to put together a 1-year program. I've already outlined it all, and I'll probably launch it in the next 2 or 3 months. And it's going to be for 6-figure entrepreneurs that want to get to that first million, so that I can impact more people. But the wave that I talked about happens because people I impact go out and impact people, and then those people go out and impact people. So you get this geometric, and that's how you get to the millions. It isn't that you are going to have that first level impact necessarily on millions of people, but you're going to have an impact on millions of people by impacting people who will impact people who will impact people, and you set them up to win.
Yeah,
so they can go out there and help other people win.
Yeah, like your logo that's behind you. If you're watching video, y'all, he's got a logo behind him that's got, or if you're listening, I mean, it's like a ripple effect, right?
It is. It's actually, I designed it. Mm-hmm. I was working with somebody and they weren't getting it. And I looked over on my bookshelf, and there was a book that had a drop of water going into this pool of water, and then there are the ripples. Now, water happens to be my connection to the earth. So the moment I looked over and I went, oh, that's what's missing. And then the coloration and everything of Conscious Millionaire under that, the artist created, but I said, this is what I want. And it's interesting because most people see it, as that water ripple effect, right? But I've shown it to some people, and they see it as the mind energy. So the waves, the energetic waves of the mind moving out in different directions. And I go, both are correct. Because it's thing. Really, same thing. I look beyond mind, and I that's why I meditate. I've lived at a Buddhist monastery. Is that conscious? To me, it's all about consciousness. It's connecting consciously to who you are, connecting consciously to other people, connecting consciously to a bigger vision of what's possible, and then taking that bigger vision and saying, okay, so how are we going to implement that in a business? So that's your big vision. And I say visions should be very lofty. They should be grandiose, because this is what's going to compel you to get out of bed in the morning. And then the mission is how you're going to achieve that vision.
How do you define conscious? That's a random question throwing out, because I imagine you've thought a lot about that word.
I have thought a lot about that question. And in fact, I devoted a whole chapter in my book, chapter 3 out of 14 chapters in Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business by Making a Difference, is titled Win by Becoming Conscious. And in that chapter, I talk about 3 definitions of conscious. But it took me a lot of work to get to those 3 definitions. So I really realized there were 3 ways of looking at it. One is conscious is awareness. And we could talk about awareness for a long time, because awareness can be, what does your market want? Awareness could be, how does business work? How does marketing work? How do you consciously convert? How does sales work, right? Awareness can also be, who am I in relationship to this ideal client of mine, and who is that ideal client? So, and then on deeper levels, you move into my second definition, which I call visionary consciousness. And you might relate that to higher consciousness, where you're connecting with a bigger vision of what's possible, which is what all musicians do. When we talk about a leader, I mentioned Gandhi. So we could say Gandhi was a visionary leader. He had a visionary consciousness of what was possible for India, and he brought it about. And then the third way, is best talked about in terms of all the conscious products and programs and health that is going on. And health is very important to me. So it's the socially conscious. How do we all have water? How do we live healthily? I myself am in the process of probably 3 months from now, I will have 3 months from now, I will probably completed the process. I've talked to my doctor about it, so be sure that we're all on the same page. And I'm moving to a plant-based lifestyle. And I'm going to do that for another 8-9 months and try it out. So it's like, okay, let's do that through May 2021. And because right now I'm on a conscious journey where I'm meditating every day, I'm doing Qigong, I'm journaling, and I'm taking an intentional conscious journey for a year. And most of it is bringing me very rapidly into new visions of what's possible and where I can take Conscious Millionaire and how I can impact the world through both Conscious Millionaire and Conscious World. So for me, a meditation practice is a very important part of that conscious journey.
Mm. Yeah. What would you say is sort of your next level, and how do you plan to get there?
Yeah. So the next level is we're building out all the basics of the different group programs and looking at how to best implement those, and then how to scale. So then it'll be bringing on some internal staff that are trained to deliver some of the programs themselves, so that we can take the programs and put them on steroids and look at, okay, how do we take Conscious Millionaire? My target is 2025. I want to be at 10 million profit a year. So if I'm at 10 million profit a year, that defines right there that I'm going to be making a massive impact on a lot of people, and that I want to have programs at 3 levels so that people who are more in that 5, early 6 figures get their businesses set up correctly. Because 90% of entrepreneurs that start a business never get to 100,000. And then once you get to 100,000, here's the interesting thing. Only 4% overall get to 7 figures, but watch, if you get to 100,000, you have a 40% chance of getting to a million revenue. Mm. And if you're in some kind of a service business, you should be getting at least $250,000 to $500,000 profit off of that. That's a realistic range. That's game changer. Mm-hmm. That's kids in college. That's money to spend time in wherever you want to be spending time on the planet, rejuvenating yourself. That's having a lifestyle. It's giving to causes. You're now in a place that you can begin to make a lot of difference, both through your life, through your business, through your contributions. Maybe you start your own nonprofit. But I want to help as many people as possible, especially get to that $1 million level, because I know once you get to the $1 million level, then you look at, okay, how do I double to 2 million? And I can assure you that second million is a lot easier than the first million.
I've heard
yeah,
that.
it's a lot easier. I've made millions and millions, and they're all easier than the first. The first is a lot of work. And so people, that's why I told you I'm doing this business accelerator formula, and it's 6 weeks. Let me tell you a little bit about it. And if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and give you my cell phone. Just text me and put conscious conversion, so I know where you came from. I know that you're listening to Sarah on a regular basis, and say, I'd like to talk to you. And then I personally, not an assistant, I'm going to get back with you, and we're going to set up a time to talk. So it's 6 weeks long, and the first 2 weeks are about mindset. The second 2 are about the strategy of how to design your business, and the fifth, and sixth week are all about how to execute, so that the target is to teach you how to think and feel and strategize and act so that you can double your business in 6 months. And I said, specifically, I want to help you double your profits. Now, I'm a guy who likes to go out there and achieve things. So when I set out to create this program, I had some people go, well, maybe you should do it for 12 months. And that it's 12 months to get there. And I go, yeah, but you know what? That doesn't excite me. So I said, let's figure out how to help as many people as we can. Of course, you're going to have to implement, but to really have the thinking, the mindset, the consciousness, the strategies, how you set up your business. And I'll just tell you briefly, the first session is going to be titled Money Magnet Mindset, and it's how to re-engineer your mind so you think about your business and opportunities from an abundance mind and energy. The second week, and this is in my book, we're going to cover in depth Millionaire Inner Zone, and it's how to increase the speed at which you attract the right people, resources, money, and opportunities. The third week, we're going to look at your business model for both impact and profit, and you're going to refine the business model with a process I'm going to give you so that it maximizes both your impact for your clients and the profits that you put in your bank account. Then in the fourth week, we're going to create a money-making engine. We're going to look at your business as a money-making engine so you create a client-attracting offer that your ideal clients are going to want and they're going to buy. Then we move into the execution. And one of the things that I found is most entrepreneurs are wasting 50% or more of their time. So I'm going to teach you a process that I've used with lots of entrepreneurs that I personally use on how to triple your productivity. And it's a specific way to organize your day, week, and month so that you become laser focused on the top priorities that are going to grow your business, your impact, and your profits. And then, and this could be the most powerful thing, but you can't do it until we've done the first 5 weeks. We're going to put together a 90-day growth plan to create a robust plan to grow your business by selecting the most important 90-day big goals and which action steps. And then everybody who signs up, I've never done this before. My book became the #1 book on all of Amazon. It was #1 in 34 categories when it launched. We had 50,000 downloads in 3 days. Conscious Millionaire, grow your business by making a difference. I'm going to mail you a personally signed print copy of my book. And I've never done that in a program before. But there are only 12 spaces, so I can do that. If that interests you, again, my cell phone is 303-641-0401. Just text me, put conscious conversion, and I'll know that you are listening to Sarah, and I will get back with you and we'll set up a time to talk and see if this is the right fit for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's incredible that you just gave out your phone number. What are some other ways that people can find you? I know I found you very easily on Instagram, Facebook, JV Crum III.
It's JV Crum everywhere. ConsciousMillionaireShow.com. You can sign up. We're 6 days a week on the Conscious Millionaire Show. And because we've really been talking about manifesting abundance, I've created a hypnotic audio. I want to give that to you as well. It's 6 minutes long, and you can listen to it 2 or 3 times a day to reprogram your mind to manifest abundance. And you can get that at consciousmillionaire.com/manifest abundance. So it's consciousmillionaire.com/manifest abundance. I'd love for you to go get that. And then that'll give you the access to it so that you can download the audio and then listen to that 2 or 3 times a day. And it really will make a tremendous shift in your mindset and how you see yourself and your business.
Amazing. I can't wait to go listen to that. Thank you so much. It was such a delight and honor to talk with you.
Well, the honor's all mine. And you're in this wonderful place, Costa Rica. You showed me a picture of literally everything you're surrounded with. And I think you're in paradise.
I am super grateful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope all y'all are doing well. And thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful rest of your day.